So this year is starting off very interesting, and it's going to be a crazy 4 years. A lot of stuff has happened. Starting off with Trump becoming president, his inauguration, and just the mass firings that's happening. The him telling people they have to go back to work, setting off deadlines. He's really making things happen because he only has a couple years. Because in a couple years they start to vote again for the Senate and Congress, and it's all over. So he knows that he has to basically jam a bunch in the first couple years. And this is it for him. Like there is no third term. So he's doing everything that he wants. You can tell that he's not just sitting by and just looking for the win, right? He's looking for legacy. So everything to all these tariffs that are happening with China and Mexico and Canada. It's funny because he played it off like, oh, this isn't a negotiation like strategy. But then as soon as it happened, then the next day they offered concessions and he took them. And it is it was a bargaining chip. 100% was a bargaining chip. But he said, no matter what, I'm going to go through with this. And look what happened. And the whole Panama Canal thing was crazy because that was a Jimmy Carter thing that he just gave to Panama, and then now China basically controls it. So they had to. So he's like, no, that's it, no more. There can't be any more Chinese companies that are basically in control of the Panama Canal because they've shown throughout the years that they could actually block the Panama Canal for a couple days by just putting like bullshit in the water and stuff. So it's something that needed to happen. We shouldn't have gave it away. So now we have to fight to get it back, right? Well, not fight, but just basically tell them that, hey, you can't have these companies that are these communist countries that are in control of the Panama Canal. Like we gave that to you, not to China. So those were his words. And what happened? They got out of their China deal, the road to whatever China, whatever. Basically, China goes to all of these third world countries and gives them like, hey, we'll help you out if you give us like a huge majority of what you get. And it's a bad deal, but since they're poor, China takes advantage of whoever they can, right? And looks like they're out of the China deal. So now Panama's no longer dealing with China. That's one. Mexico did the exact same thing. They opted out. They have all these like 10,000 soldiers that came out of nowhere. They're now on the border, and then next is Canada, and Canada's like, okay, we'll throw tariffs up. It's like, okay, good luck. We get like 5% of our GDP from Canada. They get like 25% from us. So good luck. But that just goes to show that United States is no longer going to foot the bill for everybody. Basically, if we're there protecting you, you're not going to walk around and say that we're these horrible people that just are warmongers when you are basically, you have no army and you just call upon us if we are needed. And oh yeah, you have health care and nice schools and free medicine and all this stuff because you aren't paying for anything. And if anything, especially for Canada, if it was Russia or China living next to them, they would be Russian or Chinese. And that's just the way it is. Just because we are good people that don't take over anybody else. Like just think about that. Throughout human history, every other country has tried to take over somebody else. We don't. We just protect the world. Like, and people just forget that, It's like, oh yeah, we're just dumb, fat, lazy Americans. But what we do is we keep world order. I know it's only been 200 years, but we'll see how long this rocks. But there hasn't been anybody that's had global control ever. And we basically have global control. We have bases all over we have bases all over the world, and we own the water. Like that's unheard of. So lots of things are happening. Lots of things. But we only have two genders now too. And starting November 6th, if you're a government employee, you have to be at work. That is crazy. Because let me tell you, Having these people that work at home, they don't do anything. They are so bad at their jobs to start with, and now they don't even have to be at work. It's been horrible. So I'm super glad. That is a very nice one. I mean, even like, yeah, I mean, we waste a lot of money in the government, like in every sector. Like I think Steven Crowder talks about how they did like studies about shrimps on treadmills, and it's actually a real thing, and all kinds of craziness. All these different kind of studies that people are basically getting money for to just do these studies, and they're just lifelong scientists, and we haven't cured anything in forever. It's like, okay, it's like it just blows my mind. And then yeah, RFK too. We'll go to RFK and Elon Musk. Well, yeah, RFK first. So this dude has been called a conspiracy theorist and a quack and crazy, emotional, all this other stuff. And now he actually has some power. And right before he gets put into power, what do? They start banning stuff like, oh, we're no longer using this. Right before he shows up, that's crazy. So the conspiracy theory was true on that one, right? So now when they set him down and they're just talking to him, like he should like just bring it up whenever anybody asks him about anything. Be like, okay, what about this right before I come on? Coincidence? Or is that another conspiracy theory? No. It, it's it's evil. It really is evil to let these things into our food that children eat and that United States eats to make a buck, because that's all it is really. And going to Elon Musk, he is shaking things up with just trying to cut all these costs, right? But I think the roadblock that he's going to move into is that he was not elected, but he's making all these big decisions for the government, and I don't know if they're going to get away with that because he has to be an advisor. He can't actually push legislation. So we'll see how that goes. But I hope it's a good. I don't know why we can't have smart people in the government, since we really don't ever have any smart people in the government. They're all lifelong politicians that are corrupt and evil, like some families that have just been in there forever in government for over 40 years. And it's just like, that's crazy. And their kids, and then their kids have government jobs, and their kids have government jobs. And it's just like the corruption just goes so deep. And think about it, like Trump is, he's not a politician at all. Like, I kind of wish that the president wasn't ever a politician. That would be great. But term limits, if he can get one thing done, term limits would be great for the Senate and the Congress. Like, even three, give him 3 terms. Four is too many, and 10 is way too many. The corruption, power corrupts. And once you get into Congress and Senate, like, that's like ultimate power, right? And these people are so disconnected. Look what happened during COVID. They were out doing whatever they wanted while preaching the exact opposite. I mean, that's just how power is. And to let people sit in there and just soak up that poison forever is just uncalled for, irresponsible, and hopefully Trump stops it. I think this could be a really, really good turn. I mean, things were getting crazy there for a while. They really were. So hopefully there can be a focus on America. And I know it sounds horrible, but make America great again, right? Um, but yeah, just, and with the California fires and that plane crash and stuff, it's unfortunate, but life goes on, man. Like, this kind of stuff will continue to happen. That's why, for at least myself, I just stay on the path. Most of the stuff is distractions, anyways. Um, you can't really move the needle that much, especially if you're not making things better and moving the needle in your own life. So, like, stay focused, but be aware of what's happening for sure.